It's the place to run to. Book a session, come through. Live performance podcast, whatever you want to do.
Get into it, baby. Welcome to another great episode of the Morning Flavor Show with me, your host, Nesha Nycee. Say it twice. Come on, baby. Y'all know what we doing. We bringing in new energy for March, baby. Okay, I hope you're feeling inspired. I hope you woke up on the right side of the bed. Okay, and if you woke up on the left side, let's try it again. Let me get into these words of wisdom. Y'all know how I do when I come to do what I do. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Okay? Mm-hmm. We are supporting the fighters, admiring the survivors, and honoring the taken. Never give up hope. Woo! Okay, baby. And I know somebody who has never given up hope, and she's giving hope to the community and to this world. I need y'all to give it up in your homes right now, in your shower, in your kitchen, wherever you at, in your car right now, baby, for this goddess, this queen, Miss Leanne. Woo!
What an introduction. I feel like that's like the best introduction I've ever had.
Come on now, queen. We gonna give you the best over here at the Sound Bank, baby, on the Morning Flavor. How you feeling?
Nesha. No, I'm great. Feel good.
Awesome. It's such a pleasure to have you here, queen.
Thank you.
I want to get right into it.
Yes.
So how many viewers may recognize you by face and be aware of not only your story, but also your mother's? Only 6 months apart in 2016, you were both given the devastating diagnosis of having breast cancer. There's so much we want to discuss with you, but before we get into it, talk to me about the younger you. 15 years old, Leanne, that was an aspiring choreographer. Now, wait a minute. Huh? You didn't tell me it was going to be a dance battle in here.
No, listen, that was many moons ago. But yeah, I love dance, and I found dance at a young age, at about 11 years old. And, you know, I had a really nice little dance career when I was a teen. Went to
it was a nice
shows.
Big dance career. We ain't doing nothing little. Go ahead.
And so by the time I got to 15 years old, I got an opportunity to start teaching dance just in my community, like
15.
like a local youth center.
Yes.
And to be honest, that's the thing that really changed my life, because, you know, I started teaching then, and I began to teach so much. Like I began to, you know, that basically propelled my career, basically.
Wow.
So such an amazing opportunity.
Yes, that is impressive. Listen, y'all, because I know it's some 15-year-olds and y'all only focus on TikTok and social media. Now, I don't want to say, because I understand it's money in that, but we want to be intentional. Even at 15, she was inspiring the community. So don't think, even at a young age, you can inspire your community. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Now, what made you want to start your own business? The Movement Factory. It was the early 2000s, a time when Black entrepreneurship and Black business owners were very rare, okay?
Yeah.
Where did your drive come from?
My drive came from a difficult place. You know, I went through a lot of things in my teens, one of them being sexual abuse.
Wow.
Which led to me leaving my family home at 13 years old.
Wow.
So I think when you are put in a situation where you are by yourself,
yes,
and you're having to grow up really fast,
yes,
that automatically makes you into an adult. So you start thinking in an adult way. So in that sense, I was very, very different than my friends. My drive was very different because, fortunately for me, I wanted to propel myself to a better place,
yes,
you know, than what I was. So that was my driving force. So when I started teaching, it was just a reflection on the fact that I was very mature.
Yes.
I had taken more of a leadership role in dance because I believe that dance was the thing that saved me from a really hard time.
Yes.
So by the time I got the opportunity to turn the dance into like a business or a bigger program, I grabbed that opportunity with both hands. So it was never intentional. It was never, I'm going to run a business at 15, but it turned into that because of opportunity.
Yes. Woo! Wait a minute. Because you got me so inspired in here right now, goddess. Leanne, wow. That is admirable. Listen to that story. I too can relate to just going through those struggles and at a young age already feeling like I had already been through so much like an adult.
Yeah.
So understand now, some people it can break you down or it can build you up. You allowed it to build you up.
That's the thing.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say fortunately, because I know for a lot of people, particularly when it comes to things like sexual abuse and things like that, that's so common to a lot of young people.
Yes.
You know, that can make you have devastating effects. So I'm thankful that I was given the drive to come out of it in a better way.
Wow. And I'm thankful as well. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Nesha. Thank you.
In your mid to late 20s, you became an author, wrote a book called Take Control. It felt that wasn't just a title, but it also somewhat was a statement.
Yeah.
What was you going through that made you feel so compelled to put the pen to the pad and get this story out? And how was that book received once it was released?
I think all my experiences, obviously, like I said, I had the sexual abuse. I started the business at 15.
Right.
I then got into a 10-year relationship when I was 17 to 27. So
what?
I was in a 10-year relationship from 17 to 27, and that broke down. So for the first time at 27, I went through this really awful depression because I didn't know who I was. You know, I was still a child when I got with him, and with my ex-partner, and I was also a child when I went through this sexual abuse. So where was my healing on my own?
Right.
Isolated from everything that I knew or everything that made me comfortable. So I went through this year of transformation, and I was like, right, you know, I'm soon going to be 30. I would like to share everything that I've learned so far with my community. Because you see, with me, I'm all about giving back.
Absolutely.
I think the community is invested in me.
Yes.
So why can't I give back? You know, like everyone in this world has a purpose.
Absolutely.
I believe my purpose from a very young age was to help others. So for me, this was very natural to, you know, have this initiative to kind of want to write this book to give back. Even when I put the book out and I ended up publishing it, you know, I remember, because I self-published it, I asked, you know, the company, thank you. I asked the company, what's the cheapest price I could put this up on Amazon for? Because I didn't want to make money off of it.
Right.
And I didn't make any money off of it. You know, it was £4.99 was what I got told. It was the cheapest amount I could make the book for and sell it for. So I did that because for me, it helped me to write it, and I wanted to see if it helped others.
Yes. And you didn't want to put a price tag on healing somebody else through your journey and your story.
Yeah.
Wow. We need more queens like you, Leanne. We need more people like you. Thank you so much for what you do in your work.
Thank you.
I'm inspired by it, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
Oh, thank you.
So, Leanne, I want to go ahead and get into one of the reasons, obviously, is why we invited you into the show.
Yeah.
It's Women's International Day.
Yeah.
Okay. And for us, there was no better person we truly felt like should be highlighted, saluted, and honored. I mean, come on now. You are resilient. Your story is incredible. And I would like you to take us through some of your most significant snapshots of that journey. Let's start at when you were shortly turned 30, you knew something quite wasn't right with your body. Take us through that.
Yeah. So it was, as I said, with the book, you know, the book I'd published it. So I was having a launch party.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that launch party that I found out that my mum, because my mum had breast cancer in about 30 years ago now.
Wow.
First time. So at the time she said, oh, you know, I found another lump.
Oh,
so
another
obviously,
one.
Ultimately, the family, everyone was worried.
Of course.
So I never got to promote the book as much as I wanted to because I started to worry about my mum's
you have to
diagnosis.
take care of family.
Yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it turned out to be breast cancer again. So that was the second time.
Oh, my
And she was
goodness.
still quite young. She was in her 50s. So,
Wow.
So I had to, and I looked after her. I went with her to the doctors. I went to the hospital when
Yes,
they told her
supported
she was,
her every chance you could.
Yeah, I completely supported her. So I was the one that went to the doctors when she was diagnosed, everything. And so I looked after her and for about 6 months. And then I started to feel a lump a little bit later on in that year. And I was on holiday with friends, and one time I was in the shower and I felt this lump.
Mm.
And I was like, what is this? And I was
Wow.
obviously worried because of what happened with
Right.
my mum. And I put it in the back of my mind. I was like, no, I'm just being silly. Not a problem. I'm too young, whatever.
Yes.
And when I got back from holiday, it still hadn't gone. And it was when I went to one of my holistic therapists.
Come on,
that I used to
holistic.
yeah, she felt it while she was giving me a massage. And she said, that don't feel right. And I really do credit this woman for saving my life, because I would never have taken it seriously, because I always thought I'm too young, I'm being paranoid because of what happened to my mum.
Right.
But she called me the next day and she said to me, if you do not go to the doctors now, I will come down and drive down there and take you to the doctors myself.
She was serious.
So I had to somehow talk to a doctor, and I did. I went to the doctors that day. Thankfully, this is when doctors' surgeries and things were open for people to be able to walk into, because they're not like that now.
Right.
And they took the lump seriously. And then basically within the space of 30 days, I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 30. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. And, to any women or anybody that's watching this who may feel like something is wrong physically, take heed. Listen to her story. Like she said, she just put it in the back of her mind. She thought she was being paranoid. But let's check on ourselves, even when we first think about it. Let's follow our first minds. Wow. Okay, we're going to cut to a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back with some more of the morning flavor. Get into it. Think about it. Let's follow our first minds. Wow. Okay, we're going to cut to a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back with some more. Of the morning flavor. Get into it. Think about it. Let's follow our first minds. Wow. Okay, we're going to cut to a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back with some more. Yes, thank you. Thank you guys so much for still being tuned in with us right here. I have Leanne, the queen, the goddess. Woo!
Thank you.
Can you describe what it felt like to even hear those words? Breast cancer. How were you able to digest that?
It was the most devastating thing. I've been quite honest with you guys about the things I've been through in my life. And I think ultimately that was like the worst thing that I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
Still now, 5 years on, it's the worst thing I think anybody could ever be told, I think.
Yes. Wow.
So much changes.
Yes, I totally agree. So how was your mother? How did you guys support each other through such a trying time? I know it was a terrifying experience.
Do you know what? It was really, really weird. So she had obviously got over hers. She didn't have to have as much of evasive treatment as I had to.
Okay.
Because hers was caught a lot sooner than my own.
Okay.
My one was, my cancer was very different than hers. So I ended up having to go through chemotherapy and all this stuff. I lost my hair.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I took a lot of time off work. My whole world changed. My mum is double my age, and although we're mother and daughter and we supported each other, ultimately we're two different people.
Right.
And we have different needs and we're from different eras. So yes, we supported each other, but yes, there was a lot of differences as well. And I think it was just difficult for everyone. No one understood how a fit and healthy ex-dance teacher, a fit and healthy ex-fitness instructor, someone who ate healthily, someone who was, very vibrant and energetic and could get breast cancer. No one understood it. So I think it was very difficult.
Yes.
And what impact would it have on my life after cancer? Because when you go through cancer, particularly when you have chemotherapy and drugs like that, it can affect your fertility.
Yes.
Let's not forget the operations that you have, in terms of, breast removal and things like that. So there's not just about the treatments, it's about the effect after.
Of course. Whew. Thank you for your strength. I cannot say it enough.
Thank you.
So with you having your breasts removed, did that ever make you feel insecure or question your own womanhood?
Yeah.
And do you now differently view what the meaning of being a woman means beyond the physical?
Yeah. It's I'll tell you something. No one would understand, unless you've probably gone through it, what it's like to be told that your breast will have to be removed. And because of obviously my family history,
yes,
both of my breasts were removed.
Oh my goodness, goddess.
So I ended up having both my breasts removed. I had them reconstructed somewhat.
Yes.
But they're both not there. And there is a process, I think, mentally that you have to go through. At the point I finished chemo, as I say to everybody, I didn't feel like a woman. I'd put on 2 stone. I had no hair on my head. I had, you blow up because of the drugs.
Right.
Then I had these breasts removed and, my periods had stopped. So therefore, they didn't know if they were going to come back. They didn't know if, I was going to be able to conceive and have children. All these things are left unknown. So there is a point where you have to start digging deep.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll lose your mind. Yeah? Especially, and I say this all the time, it's for women in general, but young women who haven't started their families yet, who haven't found their life partner yet. It's particularly difficult because what happens is you start to feel unlovable.
Yes.
And when you start to feel like that, you're in a bad place. And, since I went through all of that, and I speak about it often, the amount of women that say the same thing to me, I've been there, I did it. And the only way to even navigate that is you have to start digging deep, because what you realize is it's not about the external, it's all internal. And you have to start digging from a deep place, whether it's God, whether it's universe, whether it's, whatever, therapy, whatever you do, you have to actively dig very deep. And for me, it was definitely aligning myself with God more.
Yes.
It was definitely around, finding the meaning of who I am. So a lot of self-care had to start.
Yes.
And a lot of putting me first had to start.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Come on, dig deep, baby. Stop thinking that the external is the end-all be-all. She said she went through a devastating time where a lot of things were removed. And we look at, that as, oh my goodness, my womanhood is being taken away. No, I'm looking at a beautiful, strong woman here that has persevered through so much. Like she said, you have to dig deep within. And it has to be beyond the things that have been taken away.
Yeah.
Please talk us through your new organization, the work that you do, and then tell us some of the statistics related to how many Black women there are being diagnosed with breast cancer and where you saw a gap with that being underrepresented.
In the UK, there are no statistics. So yes, there are none. What we do know is we know that there are Black women every day dying, more so that the proportion of women, Black women dying from breast cancer is higher than our white counterparts. We know that. We know that Black women, when it comes to being diagnosed with breast cancer, are usually diagnosed at a later stage. And that means, and I'm not just saying Black women, I'm talking about Black, Asian, ethnic minorities, really.
Yes.
A lot of the marginalised communities in the UK. Where I founded my organisation, so I run a charity called Black Women Rising UK.
Wow.
And what it was put together because when I went through treatment and I met loads of other women of colour
Yes.
on my treatment journey, what we realised was my experiences were not the same as our white counterparts.
Right.
Also, there is a lot of bias and prejudice
Yes.
in the healthcare system.
Yes.
When it comes to Black women and healthcare in
Right.
general.
And being treated fairly.
And cancer isn't excluded from that equation.
Okay.
So what we needed to do was find a space and a middle ground where we could come together and talk about those differences.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened, is that we did that. And I founded Black Women Rising. And what Black Women Rising is, 3 years on now,
yes.
it's a place where women of colour can feel empowered
Wow.
when they are diagnosed. They don't have to feel alone.
Yes.
I felt so alone when I was diagnosed. I didn't see, particularly in like the cancer campaigns online or, in the media, or even when I went to the hospital diagnosed and was given leaflets, none of those things reflected women that looked like me.
Like you.
So it was so important for me to make sure that something that I could be part of change.
Yes.
And we have definitely been part of change.
Yes.
3 years on, there's more women talking about cancer. They're out there online. There's more brands and things are now featuring us in their cancer campaigns. I'm now got my seat at the table with lots of healthcare professionals and organizations talking about how they can make change in their organizations when it comes to our care. So I'm very, very proud of the work that we do.
I'm proud too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Your voice is being heard in so many ways. Like you said, you would open up pamphlets or you would see advertisement where people just did not even look like you.
No.
It was no representation. And this is very real in our community. Definitely. And it's sad that we don't have anybody to relate to in so many instances, and especially this one. Mm-hmm. So I commend you. I'm proud of you for bringing that representation in such a strong way, a strong force, Goddess. This ain't like I'm just doing this little. No, you're doing it big on a big scale. And we need to see that. Think about somebody else that you are comforting and giving support and hope to. Oh my gosh, I can be like Leanne. I'm going through breast cancer right now, but if I have strength like Leanne, then I can rise above. I can be resilient. I can persevere. Woo! Thank you. So speaking of you just being a legend and just having this legacy with your charity, what was it like being honored with a mural at the Peckham's levels? And obviously, congratulations again, by the way.
Well, that came as such a surprise. It was a lovely, it was just a lovely token, really. It was nice to be nominated by the local community to receive that. I still can't walk past it by myself.
Wow.
I get scared of it. But yeah, it's a beautiful mural, and it's a proud moment.
Yes.
So, we just have to wait and see when the graffiti hits it.
Oh, we ain't claiming no graffiti, okay? Listen, I'm letting y'all know right now. Don't mark up Leanne's mural, okay? I'm coming to find you myself. All right. So through your experiences, you have undoubtedly became a symbolic figure for so many. However, are there times that being a cancer survivor has become your overall identity, or are people able to differentiate between between what you represent and Leanne the person, or are they one in the same, you feel?
I think what I've done is a very good job. Everything I do, I keep it real and I keep it true to me.
And authentic, yes.
I think what I've learned, particularly because I ran a business for such a long time before my diagnosis, I feel like being honest, and I feel like being very transparent, and I feel like being very genuine works very well.
Yes. And
it's very, very important. So everything I try to do with the cancer stuff is very it's in my style.
Yes.
Very honest, very upfront, there's no performative, gestures or stories being told. Everything is very true to me. So
Right.
I do think I'm in a unique position where people can differentiate the two.
Yes.
Or they can actually be like, do you know what, that's Leanne, and that's another addition to her story. She had this story before, but now she's got this addition to
Yes.
her story. And I think that that's really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not the case for a lot of other people.
Right.
Because that's something that a lot of us that talk about cancer a lot get worried about, that we're talking way too much about it. And what about our life before? It's great because I'm able to entwine the two
Yes.
in my style.
That's beautiful. Wow, Leanne, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you here today. If you could give any encouraging words to not just women, but to anybody that may be fighting, battling through cancer, what would you have to say?
Do you know what I honestly think I would say to any woman is, don't give up.
Yes.
Things always do get better. Nothing is forever.
Yes.
And everything will be okay, one of the things I said when I got diagnosed, I came out of there, and I remember the first thing I said to when I finally saw my mum, when I came out and I was told I had breast cancer, and I said, I've done many things and I've achieved many things and I've got over many things in my life, but this is one thing I can't do.
Yes.
And I will never forget that. Really strongly, I said it. And she said, don't worry, you'll be fine. And I think at that point, I was very angry. I was like, how can you say that? This is not something I can do. Now look at me 5 years later.
Wow.
And I think it's so important for people to understand that tough times just really don't last.
They don't.
They don't. They do pass. Everything passes.
Yes.
And it's the learning, like life, I've realized with life, it will continue to throw things at you.
Yes.
Tough things. And it's not necessarily about what it is. It's about how you deal with it.
Yes.
So the investment in yourself is always key. And I think that's another thing I always tell every single person I work with, particularly the women. Make sure you invest in yourself and in your character.
Yes.
Because that's the thing that's going to withstand all the storms that life is going to throw at you.
Yes.
Just because I had cancer and gone, a lot of people would be like, Leanne, you've gone through so much in your young life.
Yes.
After cancer, you're going to live a really good life. And it's like, well, actually, no, in the last 5 years, I've still been through stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But the difference is I'm stronger and I've invested in my character enough to deal with the storms that come. So it's very, very, very important.
Wow. Wow. Y'all, beautiful, 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 beautifully spoken. I couldn't have said it better myself. You have persevered through so much.
Yeah,
your dignity. I'm looking at a stand-up goddess here. I'm looking at a goddess that represents so much for so many other women, okay, in a place where we are underrepresented. Yeah. Thank you for what you do. It has been an absolute pleasure, honor, and privilege to honor you for National Women's Month. Come on, y'all. Y'all see what we doing? We honoring strong women, baby. This is a strong woman, and she needs her flowers, not when she's gone, but now. Okay, grab these flowers. You feel me? Thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. Please let the people know where they can follow you at, Leanne.
Sure. I'm at Leanne Pero Official on Instagram. And then from there, there's loads of links to loads of different things.
Yes, y'all make sure y'all tap in. Y'all get this information. Do what you need to do for you. Invest in self. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Morning Flavor Show. Get into it, baby. Y'all know what we're doing. Until next time.